John North, we're talking the state of the economy this morning.
I want to pick up the thread where we just left off, Dr. Fox, talking about attracting the desirable workers that we want. The Knoxville Chamber cited a report here just recently that said we're still having a problem with the brain drain. That's the young people with college degrees. We are not retaining as many as are moving out. And I wonder, from your perspective, how do you overcome that? What are the tricks to keeping some of those people? That's also something that our leaders here in Knox County have talked about. We have got to find ways to keep those people in like 25 to 54.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right about that. And first of all, we need to educate even more. And the UTK needs to continue to grow.
Bigger.
But it's not just about growing bigger. It's about thinking, where do we want to grow to help Tennessee's economy? Not in the end, students major in what they want to major in, right? But we need to make sure that we're recruiting and accepting and getting here the kind of students with the skills that will lead to the skills that we most want. So that's first thing. Keep on the education side of this. Secondly, recognize that we need the employers. People aren't going to stay unless there's a job. Not only do they move where there's a job, if they're here, they'll move to where the job is too. A lot of high skill, high paying jobs moving to Nashville in that area, and that will be good. We have some going on here as well, and we're putting out a lot of students who often like to stay near the school, and so as we see things like the Chamber continue to recruit and attract good firms, that will help keep some of those here. And of course, some of them, like Axel, you think of where they start their own business and are successful and hire a lot. So entrepreneurship has to be a big part of it, and you see a focus on entrepreneurship, both from UT but from the city, the maker broadly defined. Group. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Just to drill down on John's point a little bit, we heard a lot from Governor Bill Haslam and now President of the University of Tennessee System, Randy Boyd, about the Drive for 55 program within the state to get 55% of Tennessee's population with a degree past high school. Their goal was to do that within about 10 or 15 years. Where does that stand? I know you were part of those conversations.
Sure. I thought it was a great goal. We're not going to achieve it, is the answer, which just emphasizes what I'm trying to say here. We have a long way to go in terms of bringing up our education levels. But creating that goal, creating programs that moved us in the right direction was exactly the right thing to do. And we're seeing some of those benefits. We just have more work to do.
Are we in the 30s, 40s now, would you say?
We're in the upper 40s, if I remember right. And this is about the time that the goal was set for. But again, I didn't think it was totally achievable at the time. But I thought it was a great goal to create. And the fact that you don't get there doesn't mean it wasn't a good thing to do.
Sometimes aspirations
are a really good thing. And so I was a huge supporter of it. And again, Governor Haslam and President Boyd deserve the credit for focusing on that. President Boyd went to Nashville and helped design a lot of this. And the governor, of course, was the one who engaged him in it. And President Boyd remains focused on that very same question today.
Well, I'd like to follow up on that. The other thing we have instituted at UT is the Hope Scholarship all around the state, of course. Has that really helped stop some of the brain drain from leaving Tennessee and coming to our own universities instead of going out of state? I mean, you're there, you're an advisor to the chancellor. Have we seen a massive
and I might throw into Susan's too the Promise program, as well as the emphasis on
the Hope.
The emphasis of getting in-state students in. We just saw this week that we have, I think, a record high of in-state students. So those things, to touch on Susan's question.
Sure. Now, let me say that I believe we need to bring a lot of students in from out of state. If we're going to continue
tuition, you need it.
Well, we need the money, but it's not really a money issue to me. It's if we're trying to create the labor force Tennessee needs, we need to have top folks from around the country, because we can't just get enough from Tennessee high schools, I think, in terms of where we want to go. And so I'm a believer in out of state, but again, we're at record levels with in-state students, and we have a major role in educating those people. The challenge I think we have is, if you look at the way in which we distribute aid in Tennessee, I'm thinking the Hope Scholarship programs and others, what you will see, if you looked at the detail, is we're a state that has really focused that money on 2-year schools, not on 4-year schools.
Right.
I mean, it's like the average student gets $4,200 a year in the 2-year schools, and it's $2,500 or something like that in the 4-year schools. And what I believe we need is an emphasis at the upper end. So what happens is kids with an ACT of 30 and above, I mean, these are really smart kids. You know, this is way out of my class. These are the smart kids around. We want to keep more of them in Tennessee. Go to Florida, go to Georgia. They have special programs to keep those in-state students in their state. We don't. We just offer this program to everybody. We need to keep more of those best students in Tennessee. Now, we're getting a good number, so it's not none, but it needs to be more. We need to design a program not just to focus on you know, good students, but also the outstanding students. And we can have both, right? It doesn't have to be either or.
That's right.
And that's what I think we're missing, is something that focuses on the very best students and keeping more of them here. Some of them will still go out of state. You know, some of them want to do something else.
Some of them came here from out of state and want to go home.
And want to go home.
Does it come from the state level, Dr. Fox, or the university level? Who is the person who
has a role here?
Yes.
Well, the answer, in my view, is both. I think there needs to be a state program, and it doesn't have to be focused on UTK. Although, you know, that's where I am. I'd love to see it focused there. But we could have a program that provides special scholarships for the highest achieving students, and we're just talking about rewarding achievement here. That's all we're talking about, and helping keep them here if they go to UTC, even if they go to Vanderbilt, you know, or any of the other many good private schools in the state. Now, the University of Tennessee does have a role, and we can give out scholarships, but we don't have enough money to really make the difference. And again, to put it in perspective, you go to Florida, their best students, if they stay in the state, will pay zero in tuition without special university scholarships. We would have to have special university scholarships to make that happen, and we just don't have enough money to do that by ourselves.
Well, I'll just
the state needs to play a role.
We're a week away from football, so this is the last week you can mention Vanderbilt.
or Florida, probably. That's right.
For sure, Florida.
We're back on Inside Tennessee. More questions. Again, we talked about those economic indicators. We'll quiz Dr. Fox on those coming back.